Where is my sense of humour? Where is it? Can you help me, Luke? Oh, just give me, you know, help. Where is my sense of humour? Oh, is it in there? Is it in there? Is the cat sitting on it? Oi! Excuse me. Oh, no. Right, just a minute. Oh, where's my sense of humour? Oh shit! I shouldn't have done that. I might have flushed it now. Oh god, I can't find it. I don't know where it is. I do not know where my sense of humour has gone. And I'm sure each and every one of you has had a moment like this. So I woke up this morning with a great big sty in my eye. Ever since I've given up smoking, my body is like a fucking volcano and is erupting with all kinds of scary things. It's like living in a bloody... like living in a horror film, really. You know, it's like, oh, I've got this massive crater on my face. I wonder what it is. Oh, it's green and black. Ooh, now it's blue. Oh, I don't know. So, yeah, it's easy to get really bogged down by it all and take it all really seriously, especially when the chips are down. And the chips are down almost continuously, aren't they? Oh, it's like a domino, you know, you get one chip and you give it a little knock and all the chips are down, isn't it? It's ridiculous, really, but there we are. So, yeah. I want my mummy. You know what I mean? It's like that. So I had this thought, and I thought, yeah, this is very true. You know, faith and trust is not about an absence of doubt. It really isn't. I mean, there is this whole theatre play going on. This madness, this world, this concentration camp world that we live in, that is just done such a number on us. And then there's the healing process, the shadow work, and then there's the war going on within us and all around us. And then there's all the fear and all the insanity. And there's all the feeling your feelings without judging them, and having these crazy thoughts without judging them, and still not being able to find the forest for the trees and whatnot. It is, it is. And yet over and over again you get these memes floating about everywhere that make you think that you're supposed to wander around feeling ethereal, diaphanous, happy, floaty, blissful, and that means you're faithful, you're having faith, and you're trusting, and you're accepting, and you're surrendering, and you're letting go, and you're getting it right, and that you feel good all the time. Well, let me tell you, people, that is a fucking load of bullshit. It's so typical of the manipulation of this archonic twisting everything around. The true spiritual path, a friend of mine calls it true grit spirituality. True grit spirituality, and I concur with her. I say yes, it is. It's true grit spirituality, because you're not going to feel wonderful, because the stuff that has to be purged up from within you, from your subconscious, the aspects of yourself that you have to face and love back into wholeness. And I mean, you know, I'm barely touching the surface here, really. You know, it's very difficult to put it into words, but I'm sure you guys kind of get what I'm talking about. You know, it's heavy going, people. It is. It's not an easy thing. Spirituality is not about being happy all the time, and spirituality is not about, oh, we just have to cope with reality because, life is hard and spirituality is helping me to resign myself to it and cope with it. That is not acceptance at all. I had a dream. I'm jumping from one topic to the next, but I think I'll get to the point in a roundabout way. I had a dream again. And I've had this dream before, I think, and I forgot about it, and then I had it again, and it was like that deja vu feeling, right? So, and it was like, oh, it made me feel, anyway. So it was what I saw in my dream it was like a grey creature. It was a grey creature with these big black eyes, and the eyes were dead. It was more than just an image. There were strong emotions and nuances with it that I experienced, and in my dream I was looking at the creature, and it filled me with a very, very, very strong revulsion. I mean, revulsion, as in, I felt nauseous, literally. And when I woke up, I still felt that. Now, this fish-like creature, it was all smooth and it was grey, and it had these big black eyes that were dead, was somehow ensconced, like that, and it was sucking and siphoning off something. It was sucking like that, and I woke, and the image was still in my head, and the sick feeling that I had, that oh, get off me. It was weird. Anyway, so then I thought, wow, what the heck is that? What is that? Now, a lot of people talk about archons, and most people think that the archons are flesh and blood beings, a bit like God, presumably they have beards and they wear long black cloaks and they float about on clouds or something like that, or that maybe archons have horns, hoofs, are red, have a goatee beard and a pitchfork, or maybe two pitchforks, or maybe they are, whatever you think the archons are, and I'm cool with whatever you think they are. That's fine. That's entirely an individual thing. But for me, it came to me very strongly. It was that is an archon. Now, archon is a Greek word and it means ruler. So I think it's a word that doesn't really fit. For me, evil is a sickness. And it's perhaps more than just a sickness. A virus is, if a virus exists, which I'm not so sure it does. Okay, but the concept of viruses is that they are living beings. They're like parasites. Right now, this grey thing that I saw was a parasite, and it was continuously sucking at something. It was sucking at energy. It needed this stuff to stay alive, even though it was essentially dead. It was very strange. It was very Dali-esque, It was woo, time for your medication, Miss Van der Veen, like that. So, what does it feed off? I thought, how the heck? What? It was so weird and so surreal. And it was like, okay, well, this is why it wants us to be in a constant state of fear, and most people are. I remember years back where I thought, at the time I didn't know a damn thing, right? Really, I didn't. I thought I did, but I didn't. And I thought that I was sort of quite happy. Looking back on this now, I realise I wasn't happy at all, and I was actually semi-depressed by even realise it, And this is how clever it is. It makes people think they're happy. Oh, I'm happy because I've just got this really good job. Yeah, but you're having to work for a living. That is fucked up. Or, oh, I'm really, really happy because I'm going out tonight with friends who are going to get really, really pissed. And it's like, yeah, they're not really your friends and you're destroying your body, so nah, that's fucked up. Oh, I'm really happy because I'm going to see this really, really great film. And it's like, actually, that film is really sick and it's just mundane reality programming, but, you know. Or, oh, I'm really happy because I'm so spiritual and I'm doing everything that Doreen Virtue says. I'm a Christian now. You know what I mean? That isn't happiness. Happiness is something that lies way beyond this particular box, this reality. This reality does not give us happiness. This reality is all about that little grey creature with the dead black eyes staying alive. We're feeding that creature. And we don't even know we're doing it until we kind of begin to realize that we are doing it. But then there are deepening and deepening and deepening nuances to that, where you see more and more and more clearly what is really going on and what it's really about. And of course it isn't real. It's an illusion. And I know that's like, well, that doesn't make any sense, and it makes sense to me, but it's not something that I can really adequately put into words, and it's something that has to be experienced more than anything. And I think some of you have already done that, already get that, you know. So a couple of days after I had that dream, it was sunny. I thought, right, I'm going to go for a nice walk. There's a place near here called Saltram. It's okay, it's not great, but it's a place I can get to. And so I went there. Now, on the way into that place, you go through a skateboarders area. It's under the bridge. It's a great big bridge of the A38. It's a big road. And underneath it, there's just this big gravelled area, which is for the skateboarders, you know, which I'm totally cool with. And I'm walking along there, crossing that, and all of a sudden I look at my right, and there's a little statue there, and guess what it is? I was like, it was about yay big. It was grey. It was a little fish, and it was grey, and it had this big black dead eye, and it had these fangs. It was made of metal, and it was just there in the middle of this skateboarding thing. And I'm like, I'm still rather speechless, really. It's like, you know, I'd never noticed it before. It wasn't there before. Kind of, you know, Mandela effect style E. So see, these things then tell me that yes, here's your validation. What you saw is real, or at least it's real for me for the time being. And then it was as if I heard a voice saying, and now I'm going to show you how it feeds and how to deprive it of its food. And so then loads of stuff comes up. Yes, that's what happens. So I lost my sense of humour a bit. But, well, it will come back. It's a constant choice, people. It is a constant choice. Day after day after day to choose light, to hold light, to choose the magic of love over the dark magic of fear, to be a battery to feed that little dad thing. It's interesting, you know. I mean, immediately I was thinking, of course, about the Greys, as I'm sure you all are. You're thinking, oh, it's the Greys, because they look that way. Yeah, it's true, and I'm not quite sure what that means. But I saw that creature, and I saw how it was like that. Like. And another image that came to mind was in that those films, you know, Alien, when that creature, or it's like that, and it siphons like that. Suck, feed, and it's already dead, because of course evil is dead. If you took all love, all goodness, all light out of the equation, all of it, evil would literally implode within a nanosecond. It would just be gone. There would be nothing. It can't exist on its own at all. It needs goodness, in a sense. I suppose you could argue so by being a really good person, you're feeding it, but that isn't exactly it. No, it needs goodness to be destroyed, because that is what it feeds off. And that is why it's so busy, in a sense, as well. It's as if it's sensing this imminent threat of people waking up, of people seeing what's going on, of people saying, haha, I get it now, okay, I can choose to hold the light as much as I can. It doesn't mean you're not unhappy. It doesn't mean that you're not feeling the rage about all the shit that's been done to you and other people that you see happening all around you. It doesn't mean that you don't feel depressed or suicidal at times. It doesn't mean that you've had enough and you're sitting there thinking, how much fucking longer is this going to go on for? Because you can go through all of that, feel all of that, acknowledge all of that, be with that, and say, you know what, yeah, that is fucking how I feel. I and millions and millions of other awakened people, souled people. And yet, you can see, you can feel it, it's there. That faith. It's not stupid, blind faith. You know, the kind of faith that Jehovah wants us to give him. It isn't that. Because it gives us guidance. It brings us home to ourselves, you know. It shows us what love is. But of course, when you're in a phase of purging, in a phase of shadow work, in a phase of working through another layer of resistance, often enough you're in that, and you, for that time, a few days, sometimes a few weeks, I mean sometimes a few months or whatever, you're kind of blind a bit, you know, you're in the fog, you're trying to remember the meaning of love, you're trying to remember, because you know that there was guidance, and yeah, I remember all the synchronicity and this and that, and now, where is it? I can't find it. This is why I keep a journal. That way you have something you can refer back to, you know, for sure. And there's always that element of psychic attack that, like this 5G business, yeah, 5G. And all the Wi-Fi and all these kind of scalar waves, and I keep hearing these very strange high-pitched sounds at night. It sounds like a fax machine. It's very crank, you know, like that. And all this shit attacks the nervous system. It attacks the nervous system, and it wants us cranky and on edge, aggressive. And we are seriously living under massive duress all the time, and we're all feeling it. You know, we're all feeling the crank being, you know, they're doing it all the time. That is what I always felt Armageddon to be like, the you know, the end game, the final battle. It really feels that way, and I always felt it would be kind of like that, you know, where they're really cranking it up. And you feel it, it's so high pitched, and it's so, and yet, because this is the thing, they do that, it triggers us massively, it does. But what happens then is it comes up, all the crap comes up, all the shit that gets in the way of our transformation, our healing, for us to manifest reset. That is what comes up, you see. So it's the kind of, I call it the benevolent catch-22. So evil's doing it and triggering us, and then healing ensues, and it is cool, and I love it, and it's great and amazing, and that is how I feel that to be. But you sometimes, you just lose your sense of humor. You lose your it all. You take it all very seriously, and it's shit and and yet you have faith. Yet you do trust. It's always there. It's an intuitive thing. It's a sin-tuition thing. It's the great river, the great mother, this sparkly living water of magic that, despite all the evil that is here too. And it's us becoming more aware of that, hearing it more, feeling it more, sensing it more, seeing it, working its way through our lives. And it's us making that choice over and over and over again to choose light, to choose love, to choose that over victimhood, over a state of I am a victim and they're all doing it to me, which will get us nowhere. Or hating ourselves and hating other people and condemning them and judging them, which again will get us nowhere. They just, if you're as old as I am, your parents would have been the kind of people of the school of parenting that believed that children should be seen and not heard, and that if a child did something wrong, you were to beat them mercilessly, beat the shit out of them so I wouldn't do it again. It never worked. It just created a whole wave of traumatized children that were used to violence and would therefore behave violently toward their own children and toward each other and towards animals and nature. That's all that ever did. But for a lot of us, because we feel such fear, because we are walking in this world and because we see what's happening, we see the way people behave, and it makes us very angry, and it makes us want to, it makes us feel condemning towards them and judgmental towards them. But you know what? If you stop just a minute and start thinking about your own behavior, maybe way back when or very recently, you'll see that we have all behaved that way. We are all dysfunctional. We all behave badly at times. We can be cruel, we can be derisive, we can be scornful and hurtful to other people. We can be, and you can, all of that. And so we're looking at aspects. But then there is also another nuance to that, where you get the Ted Bundys of this world, the organic portals. And I think for a lot of people, the whole organic portal thing is it's the epitome of evil, isn't it, really? Soulless beings that can be programmed to be anything at any given moment, and these kind of people that are everywhere, like a sea all around us. And yet I say there is nothing to fear. I don't want to go through life believing that evil is all powerful, or that organic portals are to be objects of my hatred, because I will not serve myself with that. I don't want to do that at all. Ultimately, I think organic portals are neither here nor there, because in a reset, gone. I've said this many times before. ultimately it's, yes, taking our power back. Our consciousness is our responsibility, and our consciousness and the cleaning and the healing thereof is what it's all about. That will eliminate these little creatures. I just still can't get over it. I really can't. That I had that vision in my dream, and then I went there, and there it was. It's just incredible. I mean, things like that happen all the time to me, you know, but I mean, it still gets me every time. It gets me every time. There is a lot in this world to feel really angry about. There's a lot in this world that makes us feel like a victim, and that makes us feel powerless, and that makes us therefore feel full of hate and full of rage. There's a lot of people behaving in ways that make us want to get really angry and scornful and judgmental and condemning, because we see it and it upsets us, and it makes us feel powerless, and it makes us think that everything is going to shit and hell in a handbasket. But you see, there's a lot of stuff happening that is good as well, and you never hear about that. The news, the mainstream media will never tell you about it, but it's happening. Every time I go out to the forest near here, there are people picking up litter. I mean, they just do that because they want to, because they care. You know, I went to get a load of cat food the other day, and the guy gave me 12 quid off. He goes, it's okay, don't worry about it, I can tell, you know, whatever. I don't exactly know why he did it, but he did it. 12 quid, because it came to £52 and he gave it to me for 40. There is goodness in people. People do some amazing, good, wonderful things, and this goodness is inherent here. And I believe it will win out. And even if you find that all the shit comes up and you're momentarily stuck in it, don't worry about it, because you're purging. And so that is good. You're clearing it out. You're clearing it out. Oh. So yes. Having faith and having trust is not about an absence of doubt or an absence of fear. It isn't, okay? You can hold both. You can hold them both. We all do. We do it all the time. And if you're feeling triggered by all the shit that's going down within your life, in your body, in your health, in your money, in the people around you, in your family, and your so-called friends, or that you thought were friends, and you see shit here, or you see shit there, or you know, whatever, it's all going to pot. And you feel triggered, and you feel full of hate and full of rage by that. Then I say that's kind of a good thing, you know. It's like Herxheiming, you know. It's homotoxicology. You take a little of the poison, and your body reacts by saying, oh, right, let's clear it all up, and it clears out loads of shit. So let it happen, people. It's okay. Yeah. I guess that's all for today. Toodaloo.